we've talked openly. We will be using AI on our channel, with our brand. If you're not using AI, you're probably going to be left behind. It is a tool that you have to use, and we're going to get into why AI is going to be taking over here in the next 2 to 3 years. Like I saw a video of a guy talking about it. Like, if you have a job behind a computer screen in the next 2 to 3 years, your job will be obsolete. Like, that's just the reality of it, just with AI. But yes, but we saw this post. This has 6.5 million views over on X. It says Nintendo took 40 years to give us the Legend of Zelda movie. I made this in 5 days on a $300 budget. It looks like a $300 million blockbuster. Let me show you how you made this. And this is obviously just a promotional tool for this thing here. But I have not watched this. Has anybody watched the Legend of Zelda AI trailer?
I was waiting for today. Let's do it.
Okay, let's all watch this together.
He said he'd return. That he was searching for something. But now, I'm all alone. And I don't have his coach.
Breath of the Wild slop. Get out of here.
Oh, wow. You're just going straight in on the story now?
Well, this is the Breath of the Wild enemy, and I just instantly get turned off by Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, so.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll
continue
keep watching.
Here.
Nice.
If you can make it through your distinct hate for Breath of the Wild, we will, but let's go ahead.
It ruined the entire series. Let's continue.
As a matter of fact, let's just go and rewatch this entire scene for Kay.
Oh.
Oof.
Why is there a bloody doll? Too violent for Zelda, in my opinion.
Gives you strength.
Appreciate that Ganon's turned into Ivan Drago. That's good.
Please, find Link.
Okay.
Oh, there's little things that are irking me in that. I think it's impressive that AI can put that together, but I don't care about violence in video games or anything, but for Zelda, that was like a bit excessive for what Zelda normally is. And also, isn't Link left-handed? And he was using his right hand.
I appreciate the details that you noticed there.
I clearly have autism.
Yeah, and that's great. Phoenix, you're the guy who you're big on. Well, I guess you're not super big on AI, but you tolerate it, and I appreciate that. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, there's no question that's extremely impressive. It's extremely impressive, and what's great about this particular thing is I'm sure it speaks to a lot of fans. I think any Zelda fan that doesn't have autism would appreciate kind of what they just saw there. And it's exciting for them, I would imagine, to be able to see their properties done right to an extent, right? I mean, I do understand get rid of the violence and stuff like that, give them a left hand, obviously. But yeah, these tools allow people to finally, I think they would argue that they can get their properties back done the right way. They've seen what Hollywood does with it. They've seen the agenda injected in it. And here you have tools now that can give you the ability to see things done right. I'm going to stay away from all the horrible things, but that would be my positive with what I just saw. And very impressively done. Extremely well done.
Mally, any thoughts on the AI? I mean, go ahead. Get your thoughts, Mally, on that first.
Well, I'm not versed enough on Zelda or Legends of Zelda as a whole to like be able to be autistically breakdowning of it.
But I actually appreciate that because as somebody who's not, if you saw that, would that intrigue you at all?
I feel like it was somewhat interesting and also somewhat like something's off here, and like that's the AI feel, I guess, is because we're definitely tuned to be like looking out for it now. But in general, kind of like you were saying, like off the bat, I am impressed that this came from AI because I feel like a lot of what we see on a day-to-day basis is kind of just like slop that is so obviously AI. And so this was kind of a cool example, just like Phoenix was saying, like of the tools that we have, like of what we are capable of doing. This is in our hands now. And so we can use those things to make that. I think that's kind of cool, especially comparing it to like the fact that most people don't like what Hollywood's putting out now. It gives us a chance to do it our way. But definitely the cheaty way to do it. Like I am a fan of the traditional method of making movies, so this was a good quick way to get an idea of what we could make out, if that makes sense.
I just go back to, you remember the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing from a couple of years ago and how much that's improved over the course of the last several years. I mean, here's a great example here. This is 3 years later. Here is Will Smith eating spaghetti in 2023 compared to 2025. And you can kind of see the differences between the two. And that's 3 years.
Yeah.
So in 3 years from now, I'm going to be very intrigued to see what that Zelda trailer looks like.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be get exponentially better, just like you see here. I mean,
yeah.
I also,
the one on the right would trick your grandparents. Like that's how much better it's gotten.
Right. And the one on the left would trick your waterhead cousin over there, which is good.
Right. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite kind of is like Back to the Future a favorite?
Yeah, let's just say Back to the Future. Or I like Ocean's 11. You're talking about favorite films. Yeah.
So let's say, what would you rather see? No right or wrong answer here. Mm-hmm. If you could make the Ocean's 11 or Back to the Future sequel that you want to see, that you wanted to see,
well, let's just say for those, I don't want any sequels, but let's just say for The Wizard, right? We did a modern day version of The Wizard, right? Something like that. Okay, I'm sorry, continue.
Well, it's of an established property. They're going to make a movie of X that you're interested in. Mm-hmm. Would you prefer to see the story and actors that you want in it versus what a studio put together? What would you choose out of that? And it will look perfect, because I'm going to get to a point on that. I'm just curious what you would choose.
Yeah. So if hypothetically, if we saw a sequel to The Wizard, the 1989 classic The Wizard, featuring Fred Savage and those actors, and let's just say hypothetically you could keep Fred Savage as 13-year-old Fred Savage or however old he was then, and do another movie. And to be clear, I think Fred Savage signs off on this. Like, he's okay with his likeness and stuff, and they use his voice. Like, everything's there and that's up in order. I think that's a big part of it, right? Well,
it doesn't have to be, because you could be in it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I just want to know, like, do you, like, if you could just see your version of something, or what everyone else is, that this is a final thing, you can't change it, obviously, because it was made by a studio. Which of those would you prefer? You get to pick the game that, the character plays at the end. You're getting to pick the actors that you want to see in it. Which do you prefer to see?
Well, I mean, I'd want to pick what I want, as opposed to what some
so now if everyone is doing that, there's no more sitting in that Marvel slop you all love, the end game when everyone cheers at that retarded dialogue. So when everyone cheers at that, there's a combined group of people that have a cultural experience. It's something that they can't wait to go and see and experience together. When you island off everyone's culture, there is no unifier. And then you go, well, then who is making the culture? The answer is a machine.
Yeah.
So no one shares anything anymore. Nothing. And what does that mean? That means your music is no longer shared. Your clothing is no longer shared. Your hairstyle, every single thing is gone, and everyone just sits in their bubble and sees their thing. Contemplate what that means as a society when everyone just stares at their own thing and nothing is shared as a unifier. There's nothing. There's no team. There's no thing that we agree like, there's our American values or there's what we want to see. It's just you in your own little narcissism seeing your thing. And then if that's the case, then how are you ever exposed to another unique perspective? How are you ever exposed to something new? You're just sitting in your bubble with your brain doing that one thing. How does a team operate when everyone is an island?
Yeah, I totally understand that. Totally get that premise right there. And I think what you're going to see is I do think AI will reach a point to where what you're saying happens. I think it'd be very naive to think that's not the case. Whereas say, oh look, we want to make a Zelda movie where Mally's Zelda and Blabs is the female. Link,
Disney
right?
signed off on this. I'm pretty sure that they've already seen that as the future.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong, but I think ultimately the audience and consumer will decide. But I guess it's one of the, like if you were to, let's just say Disney had a stable of actors, and this is really Black Mirror shit, but let's just say Disney had a stable of actors and you could choose your favorite actor for that role. Instead of saying, hey, Tom Holland's going to be Spider-Man, you could say that that Mally Mouse is going to be Spider-Man because she signed with Disney.
Stranger Things is you and your friends. Because fuck who even because the actor is gone now. It's you and your friends or Stranger Things. Give me 5 seasons of me and my group doing this.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy to think
It's
about.
narcissism, the society. And I can tell you, if you look at history, not a single society has ever worked when the culture is islanded. And you can see this time and time and time again. So it's just something to consider, something to think about in the back of your head.
I need to get in on that and start signing folks their likenesses so we can then sell it all to these big movie companies and everyone can make some sweet Bitcoin.